Somebody mentioned to Tom when they were standing there and they said, "Wow, Tom, you look really dapper." And he said, "Oh, this? I think it's as old as some of my students in here." I was going to take offense, but I forgive him. I want to dedicate this to my original mom and my second mom, me mom, who left us recently. It's hard to believe that 35 years ago, I walked through these doors. Thank you so much to the Alumni Association for honoring me with this award, especially this year, celebrating my 35-year reunion. Especially in this room, the dome room, that I will call it. They named it wrong, the solarium. My freshman and sophomore year, I would have cheerleading practice up here, which was amazing. Debbie Fraser McClellan has been my friend since 7th grade, and she is the sole reason that I got to come to Flagler College. I distinctly remember her walking into my room when we were in high school, and she had a catalog. She threw it down on the bed and she said, "You need to come to Flagler College and be my roommate. They surf there and the beach is 10 minutes away." As you can imagine, that's all I needed to hear. A few months later, I was coming to Flagler College. I applied and was accepted to Flagler, and I came to the campus sight unseen. I distinctly remember walking into the rotunda with my mom, and I looked around and I thought to myself, I get to go to school here? This is amazing. And it became a love affair, not only for me, but for my mother for the next 4 years. I'm so incredibly grateful for my years at Flagler, because I didn't just learn academics, I learned so many other skills that serve me right now today. I learned Flagler College has heart. And some of my favorite memories are as follows. Freshman year, being captain of the cheerleaders and practicing right here in the dome room. Debbie, my roommate, and I getting asked to go to a party on A Street at the beach, and me asking the guy 3 times, "Well, I know it's on a street, but what street?" Finally, he looked at me and he said, "You must be a freshman." Being on the Student Government Association with the most incredible president I could ever ask for, Andy McCrae, and me serving as the social chairperson. How unbelievable was that? My junior year, when I wanted to continue cheering, I found out that drama conservatory was every afternoon, the same time that cheerleading practice would be, and I had to have the conservatory for my diploma. So I went to Dean White, who was the student sponsor at that time, and I was so upset because I wanted to continue to cheer. And Dean White said, "I have a great idea," and he was the academic sponsor at the time. He said, "Why don't you be the student sponsor and I will be the academic sponsor?" Never done ever before. And it was amazing. Who would come up with an idea like that except for something at Flagler College? And so I worked with Dean White. I coached the girls. I planned the games. I organized. The skills that I learned were amazing. Time management, planning, communication, negotiation. I wouldn't have been able to learn all that in a classroom. I remember going to Dr. Dillon and telling him that I had a conflict when we were going to the state competition in Gainesville with Abelard and Eloise, and I was going to miss a test. He said, "Come back and see me when you're done." I said, "Okay." When I returned, he sat down with me in his office and he asked me, "What did you learn while you were gone?" Well, I guess I must have passed his test because he let me retake the test I missed. When I was asked along with Andy McCrae to produce Follies, it was going to be the first year ever in the gym. See, in the past years, it always been at the Florida D&B in the theater. We were going to do it in the gym. I went to Tom and I said, Tom, they want me to produce Follies in the gym. And he looked at me very nonchalantly and said, so what? We'll create a stage. We'll put a script. You can put slides behind it and it'll have the theme of all your scenes. As if nothing. We did it. It was unbelievable. That taught Andy and I problem-solving skills and time management and so many other things that you wouldn't be able to learn in a schoolroom. It was such a huge success. We did it our second year, and Dean White was in the starring role in the center of it. And it was so much fun, and I have so many wonderful memories from it. I remember my junior year, getting a private room, finally a private room with a private bath, can you imagine? But being afraid to sleep by myself because of some ghost stories. So my friend Mary Lynn, an RA, would drag her mattress down to my room, wait till I fell asleep, drag her mattress back to her room, and go to sleep. And that is a true story. I remember Mary Lynn doing a behavior modification project in Peter Scott's class, trying to get me to be on time. I'm still working on it. And today, as my best friend in school, and even now, she still rescues me, going to my house this morning, getting a couple of shirts that I forgot for a photo shoot tomorrow, and bringing them today. Flagler College taught me not only about academics and learning, but about love and friendship and support. When I graduated, I was so sad to be leaving, and I was staying in St. Augustine for that summer, and I didn't want to leave campus. So I went to Lyndon Sitton, who managed the mailroom at that time, and he let me keep my mailbox so I could come to campus every day and check my mail at box 11. And he let me do that the whole entire summer as a way to transition me away from my family and friends that I loved so much. My mom loved college also, and many, many times she would just show up on campus. We had a whiteboard on our room, and I'd get back to my room and there would be hi honey, I'm shopping on St. George Street. I'll be back in a few minutes and I'll see you then. Eventually she moved to St. Augustine. She would come watch me cheer, come to all of my plays. I don't think she missed one thing that I ever did at Flagler. And she loved this college as much as I did. And she was incredibly proud to say she was a Flagler mom. Years later, I would be getting married. And at that time, there was one place in St. Augustine that was big enough for 200 people. And it was the Agricultural Center building. I ran into Tom Rayner on St. George Street one day and said, oh, you'll be getting an invitation to my wedding. But I'm just kind of like, this building is just kind of ho-hum. Tom stood there, looked at me, and said, Lisa, treat it as a set. You can make it whatever you want it to be. There he was, 9 years later, still coaching and still teaching me and giving me ideas. I love my college. I love my campus. I love the people. I love the professors. And I'm incredibly proud to say that I graduated from here. I am grateful and thankful to Debbie Fraser McClellan for motivating me to come near the beach and surf. And I thank God that it ended up being so much more than that. As one of the owners of the Freedom Boat Club, I feel incredibly blessed that I get to do what I do every single day for my career. And this last year and a half has been the most amazing time in my career for me. And I finally met, at 57 years old, the love of my life, and I'm engaged to get married soon, and I just couldn't be more excited. For the people that led me here, right now, today, where I stand, Tom Rayner, Phyllis Gibbs, Dean White, Dr. Proctor, Helen Amato, Pat Blair, Bill Hebert, Dr. Dillon, and a whole lot more, and a bunch of incredible, great, lifelong friends that I will be so incredibly thankful forever. You gave me and taught me so much more than a book could, and for that, I will be forever proud and forever grateful to be part of the Flagler family.